Special guest stopping by, Payton Thorne, the quarterback of the Auburn Tigers, going into year 2, not just as a starting quarterback on the Plains, but also with Hugh Freeze. How you doing?
Good. Just got here. Feeling good. Summer's been good. It's getting close now, so feeling good.
You've integrated yourself into Auburn, not just with the system, but also the culture down there. It's a football-crazed town, football-crazed program. So, what have you learned coming from Michigan State about just playing in the SEC and playing in a place like Auburn?
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely different. When people say it means more, it definitely does. And living in the state of Alabama for just over a year now, you kind of realize there's not much to do, honestly. And so you're sitting there, and in the spring, me and my roommate were sitting there. We're like, man, what other than football, what are we doing right now? So you want to go catch a baseball game, you want to go to a basketball game, and so you understand why so many people just love Auburn.
Yeah.
And obviously, the football games in the fall are a huge deal, and like I said, there's not a ton to do other than, I guess, go to the lake. And if you
it's a nice lake.
Yeah, if you want to drive down to the beach.
Don't jump off that rock, though. That's dangerous.
Yeah, right. And then Auburn sports. So
yeah,
it's been cool.
Yeah, as an Auburn grad, I grew up Auburn, and so I know all about that. And it's a great place. It's a great place. This year, last year was disappointing. Highs, lows. Almost beat Georgia, almost beat Alabama, New Mexico State. So you kind of ran the gamut, right? Multiple new receivers, but 3 guys in particular, including Cam Coleman. Just from your perspective, working with those guys, how are they going to help you extend the passing game, make it a little bit better? What specifically do those 3 guys bring that will make this different?
Yeah, so like you said, you start with Cam Coleman, obviously a huge name. Auburn fans are super excited
huge
about
guy,
him.
Too.
Yeah, super excited about him, as they should be.
Yeah.
And he's been great. He's been great to work with. He's a stud.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a great chance to only play at Auburn for 3 years and then have his chance in the NFL.
Yeah.
Works hard. He's been great. And then you go to Keandre, who's the newest of the 4.
And knows big game football.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Has played big games. He's a really good player. He also works hard and just he's a guy with a lot of experience, just like Rob.
Yeah.
And so talking with those guys, it's not. Those guys are different than Cam. Cam, you're teaching some things that a guy hasn't experienced yet. Those guys have experienced it. And the 4th guy that people are sleeping on like crazy, and it's not just because he's one of my best friends, is Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
He's a stud, and he has a ton of talent, and he brings something that nobody else.
And you guys
has.
saw him last year.
Yeah, he has something that no other receiver has. He played quarterback in college.
Yeah.
And so, he understands what I'm looking at. He understands, and I played with him in high school, too, on top of that. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he understands space. He understands timing. He understands what I'm going to be looking at.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge advantage for him as well. And so I think we got 4 new receivers who are all 4 studs and are going to help us a lot.
How does that impact Rivaldo Fairweather? Because, you saw him, it was almost like, dude, when he has the ball, he's a monster. Yeah. And now it seems like it'll open up even more for him.
Absolutely. There were times where we put him as a single last year into the boundary, and after a couple games, they started clouding coverage to him and putting 2 guys on him to make it really tough. They're not going to be able to do that this year. And so that's huge for him. Like you were saying, we talk so much about these receivers and all the playmakers and everything, and then you forget about Valdo. He's one of the best tight ends in the country. So he's awesome. Same thing. Works his butt off, always down for extra throwing and everything like that. So huge fan of him as a player and as a guy. He's a good friend of mine.
With Hugh taking a little bit more of a hands-on approach, what have you noticed about that through spring, and what do you expect moving forward?
The first thing I would say I've noticed is just he has so many things that are not necessarily common. There's so many things that I'm sitting there watching film with him, and I'm like, dang, I've never heard of that. And I've never heard of somebody doing that. Different packages, different. What does he call them? He calls them menus. He has these menus.
Of course he does.
Yeah, so it's like Cheesecake Factory with the amount of different menus he has, and so it's been great learning from him, and it's been great trying to get in his head and see how he's seeing the game and knowing, okay, if this happens, if we do this on this play, what do you expect next? And so I can try to be a step ahead of his thought process before he says it.
Yeah.
And so you can be that coach on the field type thing, and obviously with the earpiece in this year, it's going to be really good for our communication on the field. But it's been great so far with having Coach Freeze be extremely involved this year.
You have so much production at running back returning, and obviously the quarterback's best friend is the running game. How does having the new players, the new receivers outside, how are you going to evolve that attack? You're going to see more stuff in the back, receiving out of the backfield. How much is the new offense, the downfield passing attack, going to help out those guys, especially Jarquez? I think people forget Jarquez might be a first-team All-SEC running back.
Right. Our running back room, I think, is loaded.
Yeah.
Obviously, you start with Jarquez, then you go to Damari, who another guy works his butt off, and then Jeremiah Cobb is a stud too.
Yeah.
He's outstanding, and so you look at those guys, and they can all catch. They can all run decent enough routes. And Jeremiah is really dynamic in his route running. And there's different things you can do. You can short motion those guys out of the backfield. You can get them, obviously, just your regular running back. You hand the ball to them and let's roll. But they are, like you said, they're dynamic. And so, like you also said, a quarterback's best friend is a run game. And
right.
So I think the way that we're going to be able to run the ball, and it's going to open up, number one, our RPO game. That's a form of running the ball.
Sure.
I feel like you throw out a bubble, that's like a run. And so we'll do that, and then the play action comes off that too, which is huge. We got big plays, and we got guys that can run now.
Yeah.
And we're going to be open down the field.
Nice. Well, Payton, good luck this season. Thank you very much for stopping by, man. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you.
Yep.